Artio, how you going? Going to be looking at some awesome maps. Again, love these videos. Let's check it out. Okay, so this first one is pretty cool. Someone made a map of the world as if it was in a Mario game, like Super Mario, map of the world. Pretty cool, actually, right? But you'll notice it's missing something. That's what it says. Yeah, do you see it? Down here. New Zealand's missing. Come on now. How many times have we seen New Zealand missing on a map? Very annoying after a while for the Kiwis, man. Doing them dirty. Come on now. Everyone, remember, New Zealand, it's not hard. Come on. It's iconic down here. Now, admittedly, this is pretty funny. It says, look what I found in my work's break room. Australia with a little teeny tiny baby Tasmania. And if we look at the image, I mean, yeah, it's kind of good, actually, isn't it? It's got the peninsula up here. It's got that dip, and then it's got that shape, man, right? This bow at the bottom, and it even has Tasmania, though it'd be a little far removed. It's the idea that counts. What do you guys think? Australia making a cameo on the break room table out of a random puddle of sweat from a drink, probably. Nice. All right. This one is pretty funny. Let's walk through this. This was seen in a hotel, in like a kids section of a hotel or something, maybe like a lobby or something. I'm not sure. This is a map of the world, of course, and it's got some questionable ways of portraying that world, especially trying to teach the kiddos, okay? I mean, northwest, east, and south, thank goodness, the compass is in check, all right? So that passes, but after that, it falls apart pretty quickly. First of all, you'll notice the shape is just not great, right? Quite frankly, the last post where, random water on a break room table, 100% looked more accurate to the shape of Australia than this. I don't know what this blob is about, but it's definitely not Australia. Not to mention this kangaroo. I mean, at least I got that right. The kangaroos, yes, they're in Australia, but it's kind of an odd way of illustrating it. It's got like monkey legs or something. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre. I wonder if I can zoom in. But you kind of get the point. It's pretty weird. At least they have New Zealand there. They forgot Tasmania, but they do have New Zealand there. Of course, not shaped very correctly either. But, it gets more interesting the more you look around, right? First of all, Antarctica is totally missing here. This ship is just, sailing the waters down here with no continent in a way. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And, the lions in the northern U.S., this kind of looks like it's over like Iowa and Illinois. Hey, man, if we got full-on lions with the big mane here and everything, I guess I've been lucky because I haven't seen one near the Midwest. I mean, I've seen the Detroit Lions, the football team, but that was supposed to be for fun. I didn't know it was factual, okay? I thought those were, more like over here in Africa, but I don't know. If they're portraying mountain lions, which we do have, even in Illinois, we do have mountain lions. I know it sounds weird. They don't look quite like that. And, everyone loves going to see the zebras up in northern Europe, right? Not to mention the coconut palm trees over in southern Canada, northern Montana over here. Oh, man, and scrolling to the comments. The Mediterranean is my favorite river. Yeah. Oh, there's so much wrong with this. This is bad. Zebras are my favorite Central European fauna. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Yes, the famous Detroit Lions of North America. Oh, yeah, and New Zealand was on this map, but Japan was missing. Did I not notice that? Oh, my God, I suppose it is. And here's a pretty funny map. I mean, of course, you're going to want to take this with a grain of salt. This is the most and least bug-infested countries. And we have the least bug-infested country. If you hate bugs, you're going to want to go here. It's going to be Iceland, all right? Iceland representing bug-free life. And, naturally, we have Japan with the most bug-infected country. But there's an exception. Australia. Yes, you guessed it. Oh, hello, 6-foot-tall spider Would you like some tea? That is the ranking, the category Australia falls in a blue. You see? Yeah. Australia can never get a break when it comes to the topic of bugs and spiders. Now, I always find this map interesting. This is, of course, a global heat map or a global temperature map. And I've seen this a lot, especially when I log in during our winter here in the U.S., which would, of course, be summer, in the southern hemisphere, including, of course, Australia. And, I use like dark sky maps, and so it shows like a whole global temperature map like this. And, it varies, right, everywhere, but nowhere is usually as hot as Australia. If you zoom in on it, it is like, the darker red or brownish colors means it's really hot. Orange means warm or hot. Yellow means like nice temperature. And then, towards green is a little chilly. Blue is cold, of course. Purple is freezing cold. So this was, of course, during winter, because most of the U.S. is in the blue, with the exception of the coast and, the southern U.S. You look at Australia, and nowhere basically on the map is as hot as Australia. Pretty crazy. When people say across the world that Australia is hot, this is what we're talking about. Australia is hot overall. It really is. Now, this is pretty crazy. This is a map on a ferry in Tasmania that doesn't include Tasmania. I visited Australia earlier this year from Sweden and found this hilarious. And if we look at the full map here, this is on a ferry in Tasmania. It is indeed missing. It is missing. They have New Zealand, but they don't have Tasmania in Tasmania. So what's your theory here? Could it be possible that they missed that? I would hope not, right? I almost think maybe like this was somehow done intentionally. I don't know. I don't know the context. I feel like that's epic fail and hilarious if they really forgot it. But perhaps, I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's no way that they would miss their own state, on the ground of Tasmania. So now this is pretty interesting. These are the most spoken languages in each state and territory in Australia from at least 2021. And these are languages other than Mandarin and English. Okay, so these are the most spoken languages other than those. And of course, in Western Australia as well as SA, we have Italian. And then up in the Northern Territory, we have Creole. And then, of course, in Queensland and Victoria, so up here and down there, we have Vietnamese. In New South Wales, we have Arabic. In the ACT and, of course, Tasmania, we have Nepali. Really interesting. I really wouldn't have known what to expect there, but that's a breakdown of the most spoken languages from these areas, these states in Australia. Oh, and by the way, before someone mentions it, Creole, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure Creole is spelled wrong. When I said it, I looked down and was like, wait, that doesn't look right. Pretty sure it's like Creole, I think. But yeah, just thought I'd add that. And for those that are interested, this is kind of interesting. I mean, this is the GDP per capita, and this was at least from 2022, so I know this changes each year. But it focuses on Europe. And for comparison, it also features Australia, Canada, China, Japan, and the United States over here. So just kind of interesting. Take these, of course, with a grain of salt as well. These could be interpreted or skewed in certain ways. But yeah, I mean, like you have some really high ones up in Northern Europe. Then you have Ireland, somehow over here with 117,000. That is an extremely high GDP per capita. I believe that's the number one on this whole map, even with the outliers for the comparisons. Really weird. If anyone wants to explain that is crazy high. And then actually, if I zoom in, I believe I missed Luxembourg is 133,000. That's the highest. That's extremely crazy high. And of course, Switzerland being really high as well, along with some other big players. If we zoom back out, for reference, the U.S. is 74,000 and Australia 59,000. But remember, these are tricky rankings because, we've looked at other maps where it actually measures, how well off are civilians based on wealth and assets and stuff like that. And Australia ranked pretty much like highest in the world and ranked way above the U.S., for example. Whereas on this one, the U.S. is above Canada and Australia. And I don't know, it's kind of all over the place, but I just thought I'd show it. It's kind of interesting, and it's weird, like how high some of them are, and of course, unfortunately, how low others are within, the same region. And here is a cool map of the Lithgow region, of course, in Australia. This was found in an Airbnb, and the host, I guess, illustrated this to show guests, what's around, right, where they're staying. So here it is. It's pretty cool, right? I'm no expert, so I might not, be able to verify these or know what all of them are. But of course, I do know about Lithgow and have seen some bits and pieces of it before. And I figured for anyone that's been there or for locals, this might be pretty fascinating. And I thought it was kind of cool seeing it illustrated like this, right? You have the Blue Mountains down here. Of course, must have a cinema over here. Here's the Three Sisters. Right? Definitely have heard of those. We have some railways, some bodies of water, Japanese bathhouse right there. Of course, the Rockley Pub, which we have seen in our live streams before. And it's some other cool points of interest. It is kind of neat, right? And this is a crazy map, again, to just show the sheer size of Australia. I always think it's super fascinating. This is taking the northernmost point of Queensland and the southernmost point of Tasmania. You can see how long it is. It's crazy far, and we're talking about 2,387 miles or 3,842 kilometers. That's just insane. And for reference, when you see it on other places in the world, you really can kind of picture how far it is when you see that it's the same distance, basically, from Moscow, Russia, all the way down to southern Saudi Arabia. Holy smokes. You see how much it covers here, but over here it's just Australia. Crazy big. Now, this one's kind of interesting. Keep in mind, this is from 2005, okay? So we're going back quite a ways for this. But this is a Tornadoes Around the World map in 2005. And it is striking the amount of tornadoes some places have and the pure just absence of tornadoes elsewhere. It's one of the most fascinating and weirdest, and also obviously scary tornado events. I used to be so scared of the thought of tornadoes as a kid. I've never had to thankfully be in one, but they're a weird thing, right? And unfortunately, here in the U.S., we get a lot of tornadoes. I think clearly the most in the world. I don't know what it is about the U.S., but boy, are we in a weird spot for tornadoes. They just love North America as a whole, and especially the U.S. So as you can see, Mexico doesn't get that many. Canada gets a little more than I would have thought. But other than that, Europe only gets a little bit, not too much. Africa doesn't get barely any. South America doesn't get barely any. None in Antarctica, but of course, that might be hard to monitor, so I'm not sure. Then again, I don't think they probably get many. Humongous land masses over here. No tornadoes barely at all. But I have to say, it's interesting to see Australia and New Zealand hiding down here. They do have some tornadoes. So if anyone want to weigh in on, how common are tornadoes around you in Australia, if you're watching from Australia or New Zealand, or Europe for that matter as well, because I didn't know they got any in Europe, quite frankly. I knew they got a couple in Australia because I've covered one that happened in Bathurst, I think, or near Bathurst, I think it was a couple years ago. So, I knew it was like a possibility of being a thing there, but, not as common as here. But yeah, they get a decent amount in Australia, especially all along the East Coast and even part of Western Australia. Now, it's only fair I covered this. This was posted 7 hours ago on Australia, the subreddit Australia. And this is unfortunately two yahoos, two goofballs, right? I just featured, a couple weeks ago, about some pretty bad American tourists that acted pretty dumb over in various parts of Europe. There was also some British tourists in that video. So, a little bit from everywhere. And unfortunately, in Rome, which was where a couple scenes in that video were, there's some more bad tourists in Rome lately, and they were bathing in the Trevi Fountain. They were identified as two Australians, two girls, and they were given an administrative fine of 450 euros and were subjected to an urban banishment. So there you go, an urban banishment for Rome. They won't be going there any longer and taking any baths in any fountains. Of course, there's good and bad people from everywhere. Duh, that's the point. So yeah, to these two Aussies, what are you doing? Now this is crazy. It is. This was titled as someone pointed a laser at our plane. This is over Australia. Jeez, that is wicked. I mean, to think how far away that is, that's way down there. And you can see the wings. I mean, this is way up. I'm really surprised like they're hitting the window, right? That's freaky, man. So yeah, I guess this is another Yahoo post, right? A Yahoo being, an idiot or a Dumbo that's messing around. Pretty sure that would be bad news for them. I'm pretty sure you get arrested or worse for that because, you shouldn't be messing with planes. I think that's a given. And especially lasers, at planes and any cars or really anything carrying people. I think that's a big no-no. Definitely would be here. So, yeah, pretty sure those people are going to get in trouble. And according to the comments, this could be multi-year, 2 to 5 years in jail and hefty fine. Some saying $250,000. That's insane. I mean, I get it, right? I would totally expect a huge fine and jail time for that. So whoever did this, I feel like they're going to definitely regret that. So watch out for the lasers, man. Don't be doing that to no one. Well, folks, what's your first reaction, or first instinct, rather, after a crash? No one likes getting in car crashes, I don't think. Not a very pleasant experience. Well, this Victorian man takes photos after his car was in a crash. First of all, it looks like a weird crash because the front of the car looks perfectly intact. Only the roof is caved in. Pretty, slightly scary, right? We have traffic backed up. It looks like the police vehicle right here and the police. And, he's taking a photo. Come on, isn't that your first instinct after a crash? Get out and take a selfie? Come on, look at that. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not a selfie, right? He's not taking it himself. He's having a cop do it for him. Look at that. There is the shot. Yo, what's up? Check out my new post. Got my car all wrecked. Yeah. Like, what the hell is this about? And I don't know what I'm more amused by. The guy just taking a picture of his car after it's wrecked and being, I guess, perfectly okay with it, or the fact that the cop is actually taking part in this. I mean, what a weird scenario is this? All I got is one question for this. Is this real? This was spotted on a Mercedes, an AMG Mercedes, in Victoria, and it looks like a sort of like real plate, like a miniature version of a Victoria plate. It just says Vic 1. I don't know what the story with this is. Is this real? Is it not real? I don't know. I thought it looked pretty funny, though. And lastly, brace yourselves if you are watching this from Australia, because I've seen multiple different reports. As I follow, weather pretty regularly, I'm always interested in it. I have seen multiple predictions that Australia is going to be very hot, higher than average this year or this season coming up. In summer. So I don't know about spring, possibly, because that should be starting very soon, right? Winter's, basically over, and our summer here is almost over, so it's almost fall or autumn. But yeah, it's supposed to be really hot in Australia, and I guess, year to year, it's looking like it was a much warmer winter. That's what I heard. So yeah, brace yourselves. You have to keep me updated on the weather where you are. And yeah, just stay safe out there. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. As always, I love these videos, and I think they're a lot of fun. I can't wait to chat with you down in the comments. Throw a like on there if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. And until next time, y'all. Catch you later.